Last of Us, episode 1, HBO. I was not a fan of the first Last of Us, the game itself. I thought it was pretty pretentious and slow. I really enjoyed The Last of Us Part 2. So that's kind of me coming at it from that kind of a fan or that kind of perspective. The show itself, at least the first episode, that's all I've seen, was great. I fucking loved this show. It was not only a really good piece of TV, but it really highlights for me what I think the weaknesses with games like The Last of Us. Now, obviously, because The Last of Us is such a beloved game and people love the story and all that, people's thresholds for how they respond or how passionate they respond to storytelling are obviously different. But for me, I did not like the game, but I love the show. And the reason I love the show, or one of the reasons, is it highlights this, which is in the show when, and spoilers, no shit, in the show when Sarah, Joel's daughter, dies, by the time she died, which wasn't long, it was like 20 minutes into the show, a little bit longer, they had spent a lot of time, you know, in relation to the rest of the series, building a likable character. They had spent some time building a nice relationship between Joel and his daughter, and even even Sarah and Tommy, her uncle. And so when she died, you felt something, right? Similarly, with Joel as a character, with Tess as a character, the character building moments allow the more emotional moments to hit. Right? In the game, The Last of Us, it was almost like it was telling the story with cardboard cutouts. It's like, see, I'm speaking in shorthand. Father, daughter, sad when daughter dies in father's arms. You know that because of all this other shit. But the game itself didn't really do a lot to make you feel that way. And so I would always get frustrated because here I am watching a movie or a show, and they're using all of the techniques of storytelling to get that payoff, you know, of like, oh, that was really sad when that happened, or that was really dramatic when that happened. I didn't want that character to die because I really liked that character. But the game almost felt like people would give it this pass of like, wasn't that so sad when Sarah died? I'm like, no, because I didn't feel anything for her. I got that I was supposed to. I got that I was supposed to care about that moment in the game, but I had just met her. 3 minutes later, she's dead for whatever, you know, in that time span. So I think in a lot of ways, what's fascinating is the Last of Us story that I see in the HBO show is like, oh, it's really compelling. The characters are really good. It's a lot of the stuff people said about the game. And I don't know if my threshold's just really high. I don't know, frankly, if they were just kind of fucking faking it. And if you would show other people who aren't gamers the Last of Us game, and then, you know, before they had seen the movie, would they have an emotional response like a lot of gamers, or would they say, nah, it's just kind of tropey? Because the game's kind of tropey, but the show was great. Love the show. Love the first episode. The only thing that, it's not that I didn't like it, but I got a little lost in understanding the motivations of Joel. So we like Joel at the beginning. He's kind of funny. He's kind of gruff. He's clearly a good, engaged dad. There's nothing to dislike about the dude. And then this awful thing happens. He loses his daughter. He clearly had lost his wife, or she divorced him. I don't know what the story is. Maybe it explains it eventually. Like I said, I never finished the first Last of Us, so maybe it's explained in there. But she's not in the picture. Yeah, his brother's still around. But the world has gone to shit. Planes are falling out of the sky. People are eating each other. And now he loses his daughter. And then it goes 20 years later. Now, I get if you were a fundamentally, your base happiness and optimism is like, yeah, shit happens, but I like being alive. I like life. I get why you would do what Joel's doing. But Joel seems like, and I don't mean this like I don't like his character, I do, but he seems as a human like a very unhappy, grumpy, perpetually grumpy, just kind of like angry and sad, which is like, okay, I get it. I get why you would be, but why are you still around? I mean, I don't mean that I don't mean to trigger anybody, but it's like the world is filled with zombies. It's become a militarized government. There are rebels fighting in the streets. Your daughter is dead. Your wife is gone. Why just, jump off a cliff, right? I mean, I don't get why Joel is hanging in there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe they'll eventually deal with it, or maybe they won't. Maybe it's just, hey, it's the power of the desire to stay alive. I don't fucking know. But I at that point, before Ellie was introduced, I was starting to kind of lose interest for about 5 minutes, going, okay, now this is just whatever. It was, he's burning the bodies and he's doing these runs, and I'm just like, why? Right? So there's nothing likable and there's nothing engaging there. But then Ellie came in, and Ellie is great. I love the character, how they're making Ellie work in this show. She's funny. She's feisty. She's cool. I like her a lot. I like her performance a lot. I think the monsters, like the beginning, when you got that old lady eating that lady on the kitchen floor, and she looks up and it's like, what is out of her mouth? And at first you're like, she's been chomping on the lady's hair. And then it's like, fuck, that's like fucking flowers or weeds or branches. I mean, fucking creepy as shit. When the old lady in the background, her mouth opens, and she's just like, you can tell she's starting to click. And the kid in school, when Sarah's taking a test, you can tell he's starting to become a clicker or infected. And then just all the stuff coming in the next couple of weeks showing the monsters. It looks really good. So my take is, wow, great job, PlayStation Productions. Great job, Neil Druckmann. Great job, the guy Neil worked with, the Chernobyl guy. I don't know what his name is, but wow, it was really, really great. What a fucking great pilot episode. I'm engaged. I'm hoping it keeps my interest the whole season long, but that was something. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I'll talk to you soon. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the next stream. Be well. Bye.